we're back on Community Hotline, and I am here with Todd Struble, who is the Jade District Manager of Apano and the Jade District. And we're also here with Luann Algoso, who is the Community Engagement Manager for Apano. Thank you guys for being here tonight. And so why don't you tell me a little bit about what Apano does and what it stands for?
Yeah, Apano is the Asian Pacific American Network of Oregon. We are a statewide grassroots organization that strives to achieve social justice for Asian and Pacific Islanders in the state of Oregon. And we do that by empowering and organizing and advocating with our communities. And we're a bit of a broad-based organization. We do everything from organizing youth, high school youth, to parents, and to doing policy advocacy work at the legislature, and from doing local policy work in anti-displacement measures in the Jade District. So we do a lot of work in a lot of multiple areas.
And so what is the mission of this organization?
So organizing APIs, or Asian and Pacific Islanders, in the whole state of Oregon, through doing a lot of political education, as well as cultural work and leadership development. Yeah.
And so you guys have a big event coming up, and it's called the Jade Night Market. What can you tell us about that event?
Yeah, so it's one of the Jade District programs. The Jade District is an area in Southeast Portland. It's located in that area around Southeast 82nd and Division. And it's one of the most diverse census tracts in the entire county, and kind of by extension the state. And it's Apano's first kind of foray into location-based advocacy. Our work in the Jade District is really rooted around anti-displacement and helping support the community that currently resides there, instead of having them pushed out by certain developments and higher costs of living.
And so why is it called Jade Night Market? Like, what does the Jade stand for?
Yeah, so the Jade District, that name came from a community visioning process. It was determined by the community. And I think it was actually before Apano got involved with the area. But one thing that we always try to remind folks is that it's actually a very international district. It's more than just the Asian and Pacific Islander communities that live out there. I think folks sometimes think of it as the new Chinatown or the Asian part of town. And we just try to kind of gently remind folks that, you know, there are far more diverse communities that live out there as well, in addition to those communities. So to answer your question, it came from the community, and it's also a way to build an identity around that area. Folks can kind of think of other names, other areas of town that have kind of catchy names. Yeah, so that's kind of our attempt to capture some of that and build an identity around that.
Great. And so what can people expect at the Jade Night event?
Yeah, so it's again, it's going to be really international. We have over 90 vendors, food, retail, nonprofits, and community groups that will come. There's going to be free entertainment from all corners of the world. There'll be a beer garden to also reflect some of Portland's...
For the adults?
Yeah, for the adults, and to reflect the Portland culture as well. And it's also going to be at PCC Southeast Campus, which is, again, you know, one of the anchors of our community and a very diverse institution. Over 80 languages are spoken there. So trying to capture some of that diversity in our event is core to our mission. And
we have some pictures up here. Was that from the previous Jade Night?
Yes, that was, yeah, exactly. That was from last year.
And so we have vendors there. And so, but the entry is free, right?
Yeah, correct. It's free to attend, but then for the booths that are there.
There's Luann taking a selfie.
There's a booth we had for folks that wanted to take a selfie.
And then we have, are those food vendors or merchant vendors?
I think that looks like a retail.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have the same mix of vendors from around the community. That looks like a shot of the entertainment.
Wow, there's a big turnout.
Yeah, last year it was the first year that we'd done it, and we were really expecting, we were hoping for maybe 500 to 1,000 people to show up. That would have been great with us. And the first night, 6,000 people showed up.
Oh
so you can tell it has.
Was there enough room?
No. The short answer is no.
No. Yeah, and so it takes place, is it outdoors? I saw some outdoor shots, or is it inside of PCC?
Yeah, so this year, last year it was in the Fubon parking lot at this Fubon supermarket, for those that know where that's at. This year, because we didn't have enough space, we moved over to PCC Southeast Campus. And it'll be outdoors on that side, but we're also integrating a community center that used to be a vacant furniture store, and we're working on integrating that. So there'll be a little bit of programming inside, but for the most part, it'll be outdoors. And from what I hear, the weather should be perfect.
And this PCC location is a new multicultural space, right? Did you guys have anything to do with that, or?
Well, it's actually across the multicultural space is across the street division. Internally, we call it JAMS, which stands for the Jade Apano Multicultural Space. We have a staff member who's really good at coming up with snappy acronyms. Yeah, exactly. And so the kind of that site used to have a furniture store on it. For folks that drive up and down Division and 82nd, they've probably driven by it and seen the bright neon furniture signs. And unfortunately, it's been vacant for the last few years. And that's one location around the neighborhood that residents have kind of unsolicited asked me what's going on there. You know, it's such a visible space. Is there some way we can turn that into something that could serve the community? And so we've been able to partner with Metro, who ended up buying the property. Metro is the regional government, and they've helped plan some of the projects. And they ended up purchasing that in advance of a transit project that's going in and going kind of through Powell, and Division is going to connect Gresham as well. And so when they purchased it, their standard practice is usually just to fence it off and leave it vacant and try and just minimize folks vandalizing it or breaking windows or whatever might happen. But because we had partnered with them in the past over some community events, we were able to chat with them and say, look, this is a community need that we have. There's really not a lot of community space in that part of Portland. And so we were able to kind of build that partnership and able to lease that space for free for the next few years while Metro comes up with a plan for how to redevelop it.
And so the merchants that are there, all the vendors, are those local people, or are they people from abroad, or how can people get involved maybe for next year's event? Yeah,
it's a really diverse mix. We try to highlight local businesses as much as we possibly can, especially folks that live and work in the Jade District. Right. But we do have them from all over, including some from, I believe, Beaverton and Vancouver. So from East Portland, east of Portland as well, and Gresham. We're welcome to take applications from anywhere.
Right. And so when is the event being held?
It'll be this Saturday, August 15th. It'll start at 5 p.m. and go until 10 p.m. And then we're doing 2 weekends, so then next Saturday as well, August 22nd. Okay.
And is it too late for people who want to volunteer for this event?
Absolutely not. You can go to our website, jdistrict.org, and there should be a link to sign up to volunteer. We would love to have some folks help out with setting up and making the event a success.
Yeah, and so what kind of volunteer positions do you guys have for that event?
There's going to be, I would say right now we need the most help with setup. So prior to the event, from probably about noon to 5, hanging banners, hanging lights, hanging some of the decorations. But during the event, there'll be positions for directing traffic, making sure the garbage is being taken care of, and so keeping everything orderly.
Especially if you guys have such a big outcome like you did last year, which was huge, right?
Yes, yes.
And how can they sign up? They go on your guys' website?
Yes, jdistrict.org.
Okay, and so I'm sure you guys needed some sort of help to make this big event happen, and that's where sponsors come in. Did you guys have any sponsors help you guys out?
Yeah, so PCC Southeast Campus was really generous with their space, allowing us to have the event there. We've also gotten grants from many different community partners, including Venture Portland, the Portland Art and Culture Center, and many more.
Yeah, and how about people who want to get involved with Apano? Do they have to come from a certain background to be a volunteer?
To volunteer for the night market, absolutely not. No, we're welcoming.
And how about to be a part of the organization?
Yeah, part of Apano, you would have to identify with the Asian or Pacific Islander identity.
Right.
We mainly organize Asian and Pacific Islander communities, so that would be mostly our volunteer-based identity, I guess. But in terms of like events, like the Jade Night Market or one of our major events as well, we welcome allies and their support.
And so what was the response to last year's event being so big? And I'm sure with a lot of people who immigrated, or they probably feel welcome having such a great event that's cultural, right? Yeah.
That's one of the goals, yes. So we know we have a lot of immigrant communities that live in the Jade District, folks that have lived there for generations, and also folks who have come here from different backgrounds.
What kind of feedback did you guys get from them?
We got pretty much an overwhelmingly positive response from last year. Folks in the community loved it. Folks, we actually remember speaking with people who drove from as far away as like Corvallis, and I think some folks from Eugene came up too.
Right.
And everybody seemed to have a good time and felt it was worth the trip.
Right. And so there's no entry fee, and there's going to be food, music, beer. Is there also family activities, kid-friendly activities as well?
Yes, absolutely. There's going to be a children's activity area, and some of the vendors are more targeted towards kids. I think the face painting booth last year was really popular, and I believe they're returning this year too.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. So if you need more information about Apano, the organization, or if you'd like to attend the Jade Night event, stay tuned because we're going to have a flyer and more information about this organization. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I had a great time filling in for Monica. Thank you.